Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Newsroom. I'm your host, Khalid. But today is the 23rd of March 2023. It's an auspicious day for two different occasions. First, of course, today is the Pakistan Resolution Day. Today was the day when in 1940 the resolution of Pakistan was passed. Also, this is the day when the first constitution of Pakistan was passed in 1956. Not only that, there's another angle to today as well. This is the first of Ramzan as well. So the holy month of Ramzan is upon us. I hope your fasts are going well and the iftar also went well. Now, we will be talking about the importance of 23rd March from different perspectives, from its historical perspective, from the perspective of what needs to be done today in the context of the Pakistan resolution, in the context of the Constitution of Pakistan, under the provisions that have been given, and that is going to be the crux of today's show. But we will also be talking about the US Congressman Jamal Bowman, who has introduced a landmark resolution in the House of Representatives supporting the designation of Pakistan Day in honor and to celebrate important role played by the Pakistani American community to strengthen and inspire people of the United States. That is the first as far as the US and Pakistan relations are concerned. And then we'll be talking of Salman Sufi, who is the head of Prime Minister of Pakistan Strategic Reforms, who has said that today he's pleased to share that the exclusive chapter on the Constitution of Pakistan has been formally approved for the curriculum 6th to 7th grade. Courses on coding have also been approved. This is excellent because this will give an introduction to the Constitution of Pakistan to those who did not know or do not understand the different facets of our very important legal document. We'll be discussing different aspects of that as well. But before we begin our show, let's take you to a historical perspective of the 23rd of March in the following report.
22, 23 और 24 मार्च को लाहौर मंटो पार्क में ऑल इंडिया मुस्लिम लीग का एक अजीमुशान जलसा मुनक्किद हो रहा है, जिसमें मुसलमानों के जय्यद रहनुमा शरीक होंगे और अपने ख्यालात का इजहार करेंगे। आप सबसे इस जलसे में शिरकत की इस्तदा की जाती है।
ये ऐलान सुनते ही मुसलमानों की बहुत बड़ी तादाद इस वक्त लाहौर के मंटो पार्क की जानिब रवां दवा है, जहां अब से कुछ ही देर में कायद-ए-आज़म मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना अपना तारीखी खिताब करने जा रहे हैं। मुसलमानों की वाहिद नुमाइंदा जमात के बहुत से रहनुमा इस वक्त मंटो पार्क की जानिब गामजन हैं और मुसलमानों की भी बहुत बड़ी तादाद है जो इस वक्त मंटो पार्क की जानिब रवां दवा है। अपने लीडर्स को देखने के लिए, एक झलक देखने के लिए नाज़रीन वो बेताब हैं। नाज़रीन, आज 22 मार्च का दिन है और कायद-ए-आज़म मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना इस वक्त जलसा आम से खिताब कर रहे हैं। इस वक्त पंडाल में बला की खामोशी है। लोग अपने लीडर को सुनने के लिए, उन्हें देखने के लिए बेताब हैं, बेकरार हैं। आज का इज्तिमा इस बात की गमाज़ी करता है।
We'll begin with our first guest who's joined us online, Lieutenant General Raza Muhammad Khan Saab. He's a senior analyst and a defense analyst as well. Sir, thank you very much to have joined us. I'd like to understand the 23rd of March 1940 and explain it to so many who do not know, especially from our young generation. Our Qaid Muhammad Ali Jinnah made a very important speech on this very day. Would you like to highlight some of the salient features of that speech that was made on this auspicious day?
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, let me say that 23rd March 1940 was a landmark event in the history of not only the Muslims of the subcontinent, but the Muslims of Asia and in fact actually the world, because it determined for the Muslims of the subcontinent a home, a free place, and that was in the northwest and northeast India. And this unanimous resolution adopted by all the prominent leaders of Muslims all over India accelerated greatly the pace of the freedom movement. It gave new energy, courage, and momentum to the Muslims of United India who gathered around the Qaid-e-Azam for their eventual struggle of freedom. And of course, as you said in your intro, although it was after 9 years that the first constitution of Pakistan was enacted, 1956, again on 23rd March. But in that constitution, Pakistan was declared as an Islamic republic. At that time, it was the only Islamic republic in the world. So it has got these, connotations. Now, coming back to what was actually iterated or reiterated in that resolution. First of all, the guide said that Muslim India cannot accept any constitution which would actually necessarily result in a Hindu majority government in India, and that Hindus and Muslims brought together under a democratic system forced upon the minorities can only mean Hindu Raj. He went on to say that no constitutional plan is workable or acceptable to the Muslims unless geographical contiguous areas in which the Muslims are numerically in majority, as in the northwest and eastern zone of India, are grouped constitute independent states in which the constituent units shall be autonomous and sovereign. And later, after a year, in 1941, the Muslim League made a slight amendment to the last line in this resolution and stated that instead of independent states, two states, it will be one single independent state, the state of Pakistan. And of course, in that speech, the guide very clearly said that he wants the people, the Muslims, make up their mind definitely on what has been passed in this resolution and think of every device, organize the people, strengthen the organization of the Muslim League at the time, and that they should also, organize economically, socially, educationally, and politically, so that Pakistan can eventually come on the map of.
All right. Lieutenant General Saab, I'd also like to understand, we know that Jinnah Saab made a very important speech on that very day announcing the Lahore resolution or the Pakistan resolution. But there were many other important faces behind this Lahore resolution. Would you like to name some of them and their contribution towards this resolution?
You see, essentially, the Lahore, the Pakistan resolution was authored, after consultation with all the leading Muslims by Muhammad Zafarullah Khan Sahib. He authored it, and it was presented by Mr. A.K. Fazlul Haq, the Prime Minister of Bengal at the time, because Bengal then was the biggest, a Muslim majority area, and you need to keep in mind that the people of Bengal and now Bangladesh were very keen at the time, and they were very supportive of the resolution. And in that, of course, Mr. Jinnah had to actually not only oppose the Hindus, he had to oppose Mahatma Gandhi, he had to oppose, the radical Hindus. He even had to oppose, some Muslims who wanted a united India, who wanted the Muslims to stay in a united India. And of course, uh, there were many, many issues because the Muslims, as I said earlier, were not very well organized. They did not have the resources. And it was, all the Muslim leaders, affluent Muslim leaders, and the politicians of the time who actually came around the flag of the Muslim leagues and made whatever we are today.
Sir, I'd also like to understand 7 years after this Pakistan resolution was passed, or Pakistan gained the right to become an independent state on the 14th of August 1947. But it did not go without a lot of sacrifice. A lot of people left their homelands to be part of this side of the subcontinent, but a lot of people lost their lives in the struggle to create the country for the Muslims of the subcontinent that we call the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Do you feel the new generation, our youth, understands the sacrifices that have been made by so many hundreds and thousands of people to create a land which they can profess as their own?
Unfortunately, the younger generation uh, are not very well aware of the sacrifices paid by our ancestors. Although, the Pakistan is part of our syllabus, and probably later on we're going to talk more about that. And I think it is the role of all the education institutions, the government, the media, to make sure that they remember this. Let me just state that a billion people actually lost their lives. Those who wanted to come to Pakistan from India after independence, but fortunately they could not do so. Many were killed by the Hindus on the way, and at least 1.2 million refugees. They left all that they had, all their belongings in India, and they came to Pakistan. Uh, at the time, we hardly had any armed forces, any equipped armed forces, because all the equipment was left in India. All the ordnance factories were in India, and we had raised our security force literally from a scratch, and there weren't enough forces to defend the people who were migrating from India to Pakistan. We went through very arduous struggle, and I think those sacrifices must be remembered by
Exactly,
posterity.
and it's very important. It's very important, Raza Khan Saab, that the youth understands and respects these sacrifices, because until they don't do, they will never be able to respect Pakistan the way our elders did. Kindly stay online. We've also been joined by Dr. Waqar Ahmed. He's a joint executive director of the SDPI. Thank you very much, Dr. Saab, to have joined us. Dr. Saab, first of all, Ramzan Mubarak to you and your family, and of course 23rd of March also, it's an auspicious day, so that also I'd like to extend my heartiest congratulations to you and the whole of Pakistan and your organization on this auspicious day as well. The importance of 23rd of March 1940, how important is it from an economist's point of view? Dr. Saab, can you hear us? Dr. Waqar, can you hear us? Well, there seems to be some kind of a technical issue due to which we are not able to reach to Dr. Waqar. And as soon as that issue is resolved, we'll go back to him. Nevertheless, the fact remains that this day is an auspicious one. This year, it becomes even more auspicious because of Ramzan's beginning on this very day as well. I'd like to say what our Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif tweeted on this very important day. He said, "Today the nation pays homage to Pakistan's founding fathers for their political wisdom, their sagacity and their determination to wage a relentless struggle for a separate homeland." He said the day is a reminder that no matter what the challenges, human will is capable to attain the impossible. Dr. Waqar Ahmed, thank you very much to have joined us. Ramzan Mubarak and of course 23rd of March Mubarak as well. From an economist point of view, how important is this day, and what the message is came out of this very important day in 1940 in the speech by Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah?
Thank you, sir, and Ramzan Mubarak to you as well. I think this day actually brings along two very important messages for the nation. One, of course, is a shared vision of a land where, of course, all were promised and all hoped for equal opportunities, equal access to opportunities, and, of course, where they could live with the way that they had tried to envisage for many, many years prior to, of course, Pakistan coming into being. The second is also one key message which is that all would have a shared, caring stance towards each other, and that is how the federation would come together. And of course, given that the country comprised of several, of course, people coming from several strands, provinces, within provinces, of course, there was variation, and all had come together to see this vision together. And of course, going forward as well, all had envisioned that the fruits of economic growth, economic development that will happen in this country will also be shared equitably. And now this message is important, not just for Pakistan, but for any other country as well, where you would like to have a very strengthened social fabric, strengthened state of federation, and where people are able to not only extend their own aspirations, but also see people from those segments of the society who are unfortunate, they are also allowed the chance of social and economic mobility.
All right. Now, Dr. Saab, when you look at the current times and, look back in 1940 and you talk about the economics and Pakistan's economic struggle as well, currently we have an economic crisis in our hands. What is the way forward if we look at the different speeches by our Qaid Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the other leaders of Pakistan who created Pakistan? In their vision, what should Pakistan and how should Pakistan move forward to gain economic stability?
I think this is a very important question. And one of the inspirations that comes from our founding fathers, including Quaid-e-Azam, I think that is to look into opportunities in crisis. Every crisis has brought opportunities, and it was our founding fathers who saw several opportunities in the crises which they were facing. And unfortunately, when I look at the narrative now, while many people are coming forward with an anthology of crisis, a laundry list of crises that we continue to face, they are not talking about the opportunities in this crisis. So taking a purely economics lens over here, I see countries other than Pakistan who are going to the IMF with a homegrown plan of their own, trying to negotiate a fund program, trying to negotiate with development partners with a homegrown plan, with a vision of their own, which has a consensus of all stakeholders. So I think we have this opportunity to go back to the drawing board. We have decent institutions who can assume that responsibility to bring all stakeholders around the table and then see basically that what are we planning for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And in this plan, may I say, that a pivotal role has to be given to those who have been left behind in the process of economic growth, past economic growth in Pakistan. And if economic recovery has to be inclusive, you have to give importance to those areas, those regions in Pakistan which are the most poverty-ridden, which feel that there is inequality of access to opportunities. So I'm talking about pockets of South Punjab, interior Sindh, Balochistan, Western Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. All of these have to find themselves in that homegrown plan that we chart out for ourselves.
Dr. Waqar, I'd like to refer to one part of the tweet that our Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif posted on this auspicious day. He said, living nations put themselves to rigorous audit by comparing their performance to the ideals. This is their way of introspection and accountability. I have my unwavering faith in the idea of Pakistan to defeat the odds. On the 23rd of March today, let us awaken the spirit of service to the nation. How important is this, spirit of service to the nation in order to strengthen Pakistan?
Absolutely, and I think this is probably the most important message that could have gone out today. And I think, as I was saying earlier as well, that all stakeholders have to come around this message now. The message should not remain a verbal rhetoric, so to say, but it has to find its way in our policies, plans, projects, programs, and we can do this. I think it's not that when Pakistan was being conceived or was being in the formative years of Pakistan, it's not that we didn't have these problems. Likewise, of course, back, if I look at 4 or 5 decades back, it's not that this is the first economic crisis that we have had. But it's just that one needs to really have a chin-up kind of an attitude and move forward. I was, in fact, discussing with members of the private sector and business community that it is the sense of entrepreneurship, it is the entrepreneurial spirit in the Pakistani nation that allows it to rebound in the shortest possible time period. We have seen it during the time when nuclear testing took place and we had sanctions on us. We have seen it in the time when we have the worst energy crises back in 2007, 8, and 9. And then, of course, CPEC came along. And this situation is also something which is a phase, you know. I have also come across people in just last month, you know, we have seen that while the weakening of rupee is a concern for our debt burden, but they have found opportunity in it. You have your ICT freelancers who have become more competitive on the back of a weak rupee. You have exporters who are able to sell low value added, despite of the low value added goods. They have become competitive because of a weakening rupee. So it is these crises in the opportunities that we have to. It is these opportunities in the crisis that we have to find.
That is so true, and I hope more and more people are listening to this message and they take the opportunities out of even the weakest of points or positioning that the country might have. I think this is a land of opportunity. Pakistan is a land of opportunity, and one needs to take full advantage of this, whether it be our business sector or the other sectors or even our youth of Pakistan. Thank you so very much, Dr. Waqar, Ahmed, Joint Executive Director, SDPI, to have joined us and to have talked to us from an economist's point of view on Pakistan's evolution and the importance of the 23rd of March 1940. Coming back to you, Lieutenant General Raza Muhammad Khan Saab, we were talking about the independence of Pakistan, we were talking about the sacrifices, we were talking about the youth that does not understand as much as it needs to about the sacrifices that were made. In this whole process, how can we enlighten our youth? And do you feel by enlightening our youth, we might be able to make this Pakistan the country that our Jinnah envisioned, in fact?
Okay, permit I'll just add what has been said on the economy of Pakistan. The first point that I'd like to make is that, there is concern about the current state of our economy. But as it was said earlier, I think we have been through such crises in the past, and we are a very, very resilient nation. And I'm sure, we will overcome this. But of course, we have to make sure that we increase our tax base from 4.2 million out of 202 million to at least 10 million people. And the sooner we do that, the better it will be. And similarly, we have to make sure that we depend more on countries like China, who are prepared to lend us at much easier, softer, interest rates, and also with no conditions attached. So we have to see that. And now coming back to your question, I think I'd like to quote a few things from what the guide had said, which I think posterity needs to follow. And what he said is, and I quote, "Do not criticize others unless you yourselves have learned to respect sanctity of law," unquote. Then he says, quote, "Freedom does not mean that you can behave as you please, irrespective of the rights of others." And finally, he said that I quote, "I have no doubt that with unity, faith, and discipline, we will compare with any nation of the world, inshallah." So these are some of the sayings of the Qaid. I think we as a nation, and particularly the youth, need to remember it. And not only that, but also act upon the guidelines given by the guide us.
Now, Lieutenant General Raza Khan Saab, Pakistan emerged on the global maps on the 14th of August 1947. But of course, the foundation was laid through the Pakistan Resolution on this very day in 1940. How did Pakistan emergence, in your point of view, on the world map transform the South Asian region?
As I said, that when Pakistan came into being, we had nothing actually. Uh, the offices that were established in a hurry in Karachi, they had no desks or chairs for senior officials to sit on. What they did were that they had some crates which had come carrying stationery from India. They were actually using them as a chair and a desk. We had no money, to pay our employees, government servants, and it was at that time the Nawab of Bahawalpur who paid the first sort of checks of the government servants of India. We had no currency of our own. We were using, the combined Indian currency at the time. Uh, at that time, there were about 50 million rupees, which the Central Bank of India was supposed to give to the newly created nation of Pakistan. But that was delayed on one pretext or the other pretext, and it was eventually paid back to Pakistan in 1949. And soon after, the attack Kashmir, and it annexed Junagadh, the next Hyderabad. So I think uh, having come out from all difficulties is a huge, a big, a shining example for the people of Pakistan and the Muslims of the world to emulate how to survive, the partition. As I said earlier, how it actually demonstrated how resilient nation we are. And inshallah, uh, as time passes, we keep getting stronger if we follow in particular what the guide had said and stay united, we stay as a disciplined state, and we have faith in ourselves, also, in our Muslim religion.
Raza Khan Saab, unity, faith and discipline were the mottos of our Qaid Muhammad Ali Jinnah. But when you look today in the whole world and especially in Pakistan, we have faith, but unity in the ranks, especially when it comes to the political circle, seems to be somehow not present, especially between the government circles and the opposition. I hope this day reinvigorates some kind of a positivity for all the sides to get together, to evolve and to get together to take Pakistan out of the current crisis that it is engulfed in, especially the economic crisis. Pakistan's role in the Muslim world also, sir, cannot be neglected. As you said in the 1956 constitution, on this very day, the Pakistan was coined as the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. How important has Pakistan's role been for the Muslim world?
You see, Pakistan has been a founding member of the OIC, and subsequently, I think it played a vital role uh, in uh, uh, in actually enhancing the objectives of the Muslim Ummah. We are aware, that because of extreme Islamophobia in some countries of the world, particularly India and some Western countries, Pakistan was successful at the United Nations, in declaring a particular day, which is now being celebrated as a day against Islamophobia in the world. At the same time, we have played a role to create and to maintain peace in the subcontinent, to maintain peace in our neighborhood, in Afghanistan. Very lately, we paid, I think, a very vital role in bringing Saudi Arabia and Iran together. Of course, China was instrumental in that as well. So while we have, a very turbulent neighborhood, but I think we steered our way very wisely, and we have saved ourselves. Though we have suffered a lot, but we defended our independence. And as I said, we started, our defensive capability from a scratch. But mashallah, alhamdulillah, today we are a nuclear and a missile power, the only one in the Muslim world. And out of, about six states like that. So I think we have a great potential, and I think with unity, faith, and discipline, we can progress well. Let me go back a little. You know that after 1947, we took 9 years to formulate our first constitution in 1956. And it is surprising that we still survived. And the reason for that was essentially that there were a lot of disagreements on what kind of constitution we have amongst, the various politicians. And while India made its first constitution in 1949, uh, we could not do so. And we took 9 years to do that. And subsequently, of course, we have been having problems with various constitutions. But then again, this is a learning process. And I think the earlier people of Pakistan, or earlier our political leaders learn that we have to actually have give and take in the political process, and they have to realize that democracy is the art of the possible. I think once that is done, then I'm very hopeful that inshallah we will progress. Our democracy is also going to progress, and I think the country as a whole will also, I think, lead the Muslim world one day, inshallah.
All right, sir, I'd also like to understand the connection that this day has in 1940 with being the main driving force behind the Kashmir freedom struggle. Do you feel that we can also say that the Kashmiri self-determination movement is in fact a continuation of the Pakistan movement?
Absolutely, that is the unfinished agenda of the partition, and I think the whole world realizes that. The Indian government does not realize this, although the people of India uh, have partially realized this, that their armed forces are spending three-fourths of their budget on keeping Kashmir. But I think the people of Kashmir are not willing to stay with India, and they should actually learn a lesson of what happened in other countries of the world, uh, what happened in Afghanistan, because there was no, local support to the coalition efforts in Afghanistan for over 20, 22 years, and having more than 120,000 troops there and having spent $1 trillion, they could not actually keep Afghanistan under their control. So I think even India cannot do that. I think they should stop, wasting their time, money, energy, and their efforts on keeping Kashmir, through the force of, their forces or the guns, and give them their due right of self-determination, which was given to them by the United Nations. And I think that's the only way out for both the countries, both India and Pakistan, because they are developing countries, and we cannot actually afford to spend so much on militarization or on arms race.
All right. Thank you so very much, Lieutenant General Raza Muhammad Khan Saab, Senior and Defense Analyst, who have joined us, to have talked to us on different aspects of today. That is the 23rd of March, the day the Pakistan Resolution or the Lahore Resolution was passed in the year 1940. Now we've been joined by our last guest for this evening. She is none other than Justice Retired Nasira Iqbal, an activist, a legal expert, and a very important part as far as the Pakistan movement is concerned, because she belongs to a family that has given its whole life for Pakistan and for the creation of Pakistan. Thank you very much, ma'am, to have joined us. First of all, Ramzan Mubarak to you, as well as, of course, as auspicious as this is 23rd of March, also being a very important day. And this is accentuated by the fact that the holy month of Ramzan has also begun. Looking back, ma'am, you who belong to a family that has sacrificed so much for Pakistan over the decades, over the centuries, what do you see? How do you foresee Pakistan currently? Is this the Pakistan that our Qaid Muhammad Ali Jinnah had envisioned? Is this the Pakistan that Allama Muhammad Iqbal Sahab had envisioned?
Well, Iqbal had given the idea in 1930 of a separate independent Muslim state in the Indian subcontinent for the Muslims. And Qaid-e-Azam had then magnified this idea in the Lahore resolution on the 23rd of March in Lahore. And he had said on that day that if Iqbal had been alive today, he would have been so pleased that we have brought into reality what he had conceived in 1930. And definitely this was the Pakistan that we were seeking, where we could live as independent citizens in a free country, in a democratic country, and where we could all fulfill our aspirations. It is unfortunate that despite the passage of 76 years, we have not been able to fulfill our aspirations yet. But 76 years is not a long time in the life of an independent country. And I would not at all abandon the hope and the aspiration that we will, inshallah, in the coming generation, achieve what Iqbal and Qaid-e-Azam had sought in an independent nation. And it is the possibility that our youth, which are 64% of our population, which come forward, take over the reins of administration and make it possible for every Pakistani to achieve his own actuality and to achieve what he is looking for in this independent country.
Ma'am, in your point of view, what do we need to do to ensure rule of law, strengthen democracy, reduce inequalities in our societies, and empower women? Women have been a very important part of the Pakistan, of the emergence of Pakistan, and since then we've seen so many important leaders also take the hallmark of taking Pakistan above and beyond other countries. How important are all of these aspects, and how can we get to them?
Well, women have played a very important part in the achievement of an independent country. And when Qaid-e-Azam addressed us on the 11th of August, he made it particularly clear that women have played a very imperative part, and they will also now play an active part in the achievement of the progress of Pakistan. And I do feel that women have certainly played their part, and to some extent we have at least some kind of parity for women in Pakistan, but there is a long way to go, and inshallah I hope and I trust that we will be able to achieve all the goals that we are looking for, but mainly it will be the youth of Pakistan who are responsible for taking us forward from today.
How important is also the role of the Constitution of Pakistan? It was on this very day in 1956 that the Constitution in that year came out. Islamic Republic of Pakistan was named under this Constitution. Then we had the 73 Constitution. How important is the rule of law, the role of the judiciary as far as stabilizing Pakistan is concerned?
Well, the judiciary is the least dangerous branch of the state out of the three branches. As you know, that it is the legislature that formulates the law, it is the administration or the executive that puts it into effect, and it is the judiciary which oversees and guarantees that people will get their fundamental rights and that the two other pillars of the state will work within their limited domain. And I do feel that the judiciary has been playing its role very actively and to the best of their ability, and they should be provided the opportunity as far as possible to continue in this direction.
Thank you so very much, ma'am, Justice Nasira Iqbal Sahiba, to have joined us, to have given your perspective, because you understand the evolution of Pakistan much more than so many of us do, because your family has contributed so much to Pakistan and to what Pakistan is today. Thank you very much, ma'am, to have joined us. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this 23rd March special. But before we go, I'd like to just share two important items. The first, US Congressman Jamal Bowman has introduced a landmark resolution in the House of Representatives that supports the designation of Pakistan Day to honor and celebrate the important role played by the Pakistani American community to strengthen and inspire people of the United States. Ambassador Masood Khan, who is Pakistan's ambassador to the United States, thanked the congressman for introducing the resolution and to strengthen Pak-US relations and honoring the contribution of the Pakistan-US community. The ambassador also appreciated the efforts of American Pakistani advocacy group towards the resolution. And my final story before I leave you tonight is from Salman Sufi Saab. He's the head of Prime Minister of Pakistan Strategic Reforms. He has announced that on this Pakistan Day, he's pleased to share that the exclusive chapter on the Constitution of Pakistan has formally been approved for the curriculum of classes 6th to 12th grade. Courses on coding are also going to be approved. Drafts are being sent to the provinces for their subsequent approvals. And he ends with the fact that education is the only way forward. Education, development, ladies and gentlemen, are extremely important. So is unity, faith and discipline, as envisioned by our Qaid Muhammad Ali Jinnah. On this very auspicious day, the 23rd of March, I hope we can make that resolve together as one to steer the country out of any and every crisis that it is engulfed in, and be one as one nation with our resolve to take Pakistan and make it as one of the most beautiful countries and developed countries in the years to come. I would like to end with this tweet by our foreign Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Saab, who said he wishes Happy Pakistan Day to all of the Pakistanis across the world. May our country grow, prosper and thrive in peace and harmony consistent with the vision of our founding fathers. Ameen. Allah Hafiz.